Welcome to Setting the Table, the Chefs of Best Fest. Today I'm sitting down with Chef Joe Walsh of Bouillon. Joe's story is one of home, growth, and coming back with intention. His cooking is shaped by family, by the land, and by seasonality, and by belief that food should make people feel something real. Well, Chef, I've never started off one of these by apologizing, but I gotta apologize that it's taken me this long to walk into your establishment.
No
This
problem. Happy to have
place
you here.
is incredible.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet
Nice to
you
meet you too.
officially.
Yeah, nice to
Welcome to
meet you
Best
too.
Fest. Before we get into anything, first off, tell me your name and where you're from.
My name is Joel Walsh. I grew up here in Fort Calhoun, Nebraska. Just relocated from Las Vegas and been here for about 2 years. So
Okay, so Fort Calhoun to Vegas, you're just gonna splash that on me. Most people
yeah,
don't
I
when
kind of
you
bounced around a little bit in my
yeah.
career. So
So most people when you grow up in, smaller cities, you're like, big cities don't do it for me.
yeah.
How did you go from Fort Calhoun to Vegas?
Opportunity. I think that, it's just that place, has a lot going on, so you can kind of pick and choose really where you want to land in the kitchen. And, I got to meet a lot of amazing chefs, kind of mentor me and kind of get me to a place where I am today.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's incredible about your journey. Like, most people don't think like, and I've seen you say this, and
Mm.
I'm not gonna take it from you, but you say I would take the chef that went and traveled abroad.
Yeah.
That's a young chef in the industry rather than going over for the student that, just went straight to culinary school and decided to walk into a restaurant. Why
Yeah.
is that? Explain, because I feel like that kind of ties to your story also.
It's a little bit of like a leap of faith. It's like you really believe into something. It's easy to just go into school and to do that. But if you put yourself out there and just traveling and put yourself into a place where, you know, you learn from and really grow as a cook to a chef at certain points. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think that speaks volumes.
So you said something there as a cook to a chef. What's the transition? What is the mark that you can go from saying I'm a great cook to I'm a chef?
I think just, the repetition of doing the same thing every day, you become a professional at it and
Mhm.
it comes instinctual, and, when you love what you do and, you continue to grow at it and excel at it, it'll prove through your work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So as you were, let's go back to your childhood.
Yeah.
Fort Calhoun, were you
Yeah.
cooking back then? Like what did
Yeah.
home look like for you?
Yeah, both my parents, they worked full-time jobs as well, running a farm. So at nighttime, my mom was working in the ER at a manual.
Mhm.
So we have 8 brothers and sisters. So, she kind of put it on my shoulders to cook dinner. So,
So are
I
you the
just,
oldest?
no, I'm the middle child.
Oh,
Yeah,
the middle child, the badass is the one over here
yeah.
taking care of the family. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
loved it. It was fun. She'd always use like little ingredient notes and just put me right to work, and I had a blast doing it. And we were homeschooled, so I was out in the fields, just grabbing produce out,
Okay.
prepping all that stuff,
But
and
your mom must have been
she's a busy woman.
a, I mean a beast though.
She
Like
is, yeah,
8 kids
yeah,
working at Methodist,
uh-huh,
teaching you how to cook.
right.
That is wild.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's something I just kind of something I had to do. It was something kind of I fell in love with, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So never turned back.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I've seen references and we've heard references about your farm and everything growing up. I know that had to have some kind of influence of your like lifestyle in the kitchen.
Totally.
Not being like you being able to go outside and have the ingredients accessible at your fingertips. That's something that relays in your restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. I think that have that connection not only just with the produce, but with the farmers and the local purveyors. Just being able to have that whole ecosystem around you
Mhm.
to make your successful restaurant. I think that's what I'm in love with.
Yeah.
So.
So how do you build a dish? Like let's say you're at the farmer's market, like and you see something. Is that your inspiration? Where does your inspiration come from? Kind of like bring me behind the scenes of
Yeah, it's a lot of just, flavors, tasting everything from raw, before even you cook it, just to know where it's at. The vibrancy of the colors, especially during summertime, tomatoes, beautiful herbs and lettuces, it's something that, kind of just let the ingredients speak for themselves. Try the less you do is the better you do almost,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
So growing up on a farm, what was a one day in your life like? And how old were you before you moved out to
Well, I originally, so well, growing up in, in Fort Calhoun, it's a small town, as most people know, but it's very hilly, very beautiful. There's vineyards right behind our parents' farm. There's, all the neighbors work well with each other. There's co-ops there, so people kind of just barter and just like trade chicken eggs for
Mhm.
produce. So there's a lot of that growing
I
up,
love that.
Yeah, I had my best friends a mile down the road, so we would just walk to each other's house, and they were all homeschooled too. So it was just kind of like this own little ecosystem of just, friends and family, and people just kind of living life,
Yeah.
So, but traveling to, so I went to culinary school in Arizona, but came back home after that and spent a few years here, and then ended up moving to LA. Had an opportunity out there, and I was out there for 13 years. And worked under some great chefs there, and just did some fun stuff and learning a lot. Just going to the Santa Monica Farmers Market, that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Just there's just on another level of produce, and being able to have that connection. I think that's really what sparked a lot of it. It was kind of already built into me, but to just to have that around you and just kind of jump into it, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then did my stint in LA, and then had an opportunity to open up my own restaurant in Las Vegas, and did that for a few years, and it was a great time. But
Yeah.
Omaha sucked me right back
It
in.
has
Yeah,
that
it
power. I
does.
don't
Yeah.
get it,
No,
man.
I just miss my family. That was where it came down to. I see
Yeah.
all my nieces and nephews growing,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to be a part of their lives. So,
Yeah.
and the food scene here is just growing, and it's an exciting time to be here. So I'm
Yeah.
just happy to be a part of it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
So let's go back to LA.
sure.
As you were out there, you stated you worked in multiple restaurants. Was there one restaurant that really solidified you wanting to really pursue this career and really you knew that there was a moment that you were like, this is going to make something. I'm
Yeah.
going to make something out of this.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was Luke under Suzanne Goen. That was definitely like my defining moment. She definitely took a leap, bringing me on, and I definitely did not let her down. I prove that every day. I
What was the
just
leap?
signed up for it. Well, she didn't know much about me.
Mhm.
I was, I was a small town farm boy coming from, Omaha, Nebraska. She didn't know much about it, but she knew, the Midwest people work hard.
Yeah.
So I prove that to her every day, and yeah, so just working under some amazing, chefs there, and just having amazing chefs from outside the LA coming in and working with them, just it was just such an amazing time. So yeah,
Yeah. So
that
you
definitely was it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you stated that your mother was, the one that was in the kitchen around you. What were some things that she was teaching you that what were the seeds that she was planting that bloomed into who you are today?
Just doing things with your hands, when it comes to like grabbing the produce and, kneading pasta or making
You were
bread.
okay, how old were you needing
Oh, that was probably like closer to like 12,
Okay, but they
13.
don't
But
just roll past that. 12 years old. 12 years, I can't think of a thing. I actually know what I was talking to some adults the other day.
yeah,
And they just got back from a trip and they were telling me about how great this pasta was. And the next time we came down, they're like, we want to make pasta. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah,
I'll bring my wheel. And they're
right.
like, for what?
Yeah, you
And
need
I'm
a
like,
roller.
if we're gonna make pasta, we gotta make the pasta. He was
Right.
like, oh, I didn't even know you could do that. And I was like, so you just saying you're 12 years old nonchalantly? That's incredible.
Yeah,
12
no.
years old rolling pasta.
But she made it fun. She made it interactive. Just like even being homeschooled, it's like she really tried to just make it more interesting, and, taking us to do art, taking us to, see live music. It's just like, there's a lot more than just sitting down and reading books,
Yeah.
which really enticed us. So, yeah.
So I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. Do you take that same culture that you had growing up and do you instill that in your kitchen and your
Oh,
staff?
absolutely. Yeah.
And if you do, then how do you do it?
I just try to, when they come into the kitchen, just try to make it a welcoming environment, and there's kitchens that will just yell and scream. I try not to make that part of my kitchen. I just try to make it where they're learning, they're having fun while doing it, but also pushing them to excel. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But coming after a busy shift and to have their heads high,
Yeah.
there's nothing better than that. And we have a great team here, and they're all very young and very eager, and they love what they do. So to see them have that growth between 6 months to a year, it's just fun to watch. So
Yeah, no, that's incredible because it is a gift when you're able to get your staff to invest like their own personal feelings into a business. Like they don't
absolutely,
own it, but they
right,
come here and
right,
they feel like they're a part of it.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah, that's incredible,
yeah,
man. Are you guys hiring?
yeah. We'll always pick you up, Tay.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Because I've worked in quite a few kitchens, and the culture of getting yelled at and screamed at is what I've seen. And
Oh,
what
for
I
sure. Yeah. I mean, that's what I grew up with too, so, but I think that that culture is changing for a
When did
healthier.
it change? I know when I think it did, and I've got the number in my head. I'm not gonna say, yeah, I want to hear your opinion. When do you think that culture
You
changed?
know, it wasn't much like that when I was in LA, and that was, 2014, 2015. There wasn't much yelling, but I
Mhm.
think I saw a culture change during like COVID, where
Yes, it does.
you see it addressed quite a bit,
Yeah.
and I think that you see and you read a lot more like people growing out of through kitchens that are healthier.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So in all occasions that you worked in, was there ever was there ever an experience where like you failed and that
Oh, of
failure
course.
like really drove you to be better or like you learned like what can you tell me that story?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think that we had a very busy service at Luke one time, and we had a guest chef, April Bloomfield, come in, which was had a lot of eyes on us. And the produce that we selected from the farmers market, she did not like.
Mhm.
So it was kind of a scramble, having she came in an hour before service.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and she was like, "This is not the right stuff, guys."
Yeah.
So we literally had to call up farmers. We ended up getting it like right before service started breaking through everything. Luckily, we were able to kind of pull it through, but just kind of, I guess what I'm getting at, it's like being able to improvise and be able to control the outcome of the situation.
Mhm.
And, that definitely put a lot on me. There's been a lot of like failures and growths, throughout my career that you just really take to heart and you try to think past them and try to grow from, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, but that one definitely comes to mind. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a high pressure. I mean, I feel like all restaurants have those moments, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, how you take it, digest it, learn from it,
Mm,
and then become better from it
right.
is
I think
incredible.
it's about how you control your actions and how definitely just how you move forward in life. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, as a kid, I didn't want to be a chef.
Yeah.
And honestly, everybody that we've interviewed is like accountants,
Oh, no kidding.
lawyers. Where did you start at? Did was it always in your blood that you were like, I want to be a chef, or like when did food start to become something to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I cooked a little through high school, and then I got out of it. I was actually an electrician for 2 years. I was
Okay.
going to get my journeyman's, and I didn't click with me. I thought I would like it more than I did. I was kind of just settling into something that I know would work,
Mhm.
not that necessarily I was in love with. So then I just, I kind of took a long look at it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I was 19 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna go to culinary school. So I ended up taking that leap and doing that. So
Yeah. Why
never looked
Arizona?
back. One of my best friends went to culinary school, and he just spoke really highly of it. It was a really like tight knit school that you got to really connect with a lot of the chefs there, and there's a lot more hands on. The curriculum is really good, so like just being able to see myself grow really quickly. Yeah, that's the reason why I chose it. And I wanted to go see outside of Nebraska. At that point, I was young, where I never really got to travel and live outside of Nebraska, so that was another reason why. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, you kind of threw this at me and then walked right past it, or maybe I just didn't pick it up. But your restaurant in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Um, Tell me about it, because I mean I know, but like I really want to hear it from your words. Like, where did the idea come from? Were you successful? And then why? You said 16 years, correct? Or that was LA? You
LA
specific?
was 13 years, and
Okay.
then Vegas was 3 years.
Okay. So why, after 3 years of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, we're like, I'm going back home outside of your family and friends to bring something here.
I mean, the whole reason behind the fried chicken place was my kind of was like an ode to my grandpa, who had a fried chicken restaurant in Iowa.
Okay.
And, it's something that my family always loved fried chicken. So it's like, well, this is something that definitely came natural to me as a child. And it's something that everybody loves, that's something everybody can come and like at that point during COVID, I felt like, nobody really wanted to go and sit down and like eat fine dining food that I was kind of, you know, pertained in like doing. But there's like a college across the street, so we're really trying to kind of fit in the needs of the neighborhood a lot too. There was not a lot of like produce in Vegas. There's the farmers market's very bleak there.
We're in the
I
desert.
Yeah, you're in the desert, and I had a lot of connections through the farmers in Los Angeles and all the way up through San Francisco. So I really wanted to kind of bring that what I've learned in LA to Vegas and be able to supply, just good, decent food, but also we opened up a little farmers market connected to it where people could get organic produce at a decent price. The whole restaurant, I mean, everything was under like $14, so anybody could
In
employ.
Vegas?
And yeah, just
That's
and then,
crazy.
and everything was handmade.
Yeah.
Like so, we blanched all our fries. The buns I got from my chef in L.A. So we just really tried to focus on the quality, the price point, and just the general service of everything. See, somebody can come in, feel like they're taken care of, but not feel like they're being in a stiff joint. So it's like
Mhm.
that's something that we really were trying to highlight in Vegas. So and then we were open for a few years, but the college across the street never started doing in person again. So there's a lot of
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of financial things around that were kind of affecting it. But we had a great response. We were the seventh best restaurant in 2021 in Vegas. So
There
like
you
we
go.
we
Congratulations.
did our job. We were happy with it. We just we saw the kind of the writing on the wall at that location. And who's to say won't reopen at some point? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for now it just wasn't the right. And it was time for me to come home. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, everything that you speak of sounds like home, though.
yeah,
Like how you wanted people to feel in your restaurant.
yeah.
Like everything sounds like home. So why come back home if you're able to build a home almost everywhere you go? Why come back to
I mean,
Omaha?
because Omaha's an amazing community. The people around here, I mean, LA's great, but it's definitely, there's a lot of, uh, you know, hard people around there to work with and stuff like that. Here, there's so much more sense of community, and, that's something that, I really enjoy. The farmers are amazing.
Yeah.
Shadowbrook Farms, that make amazing cheeses, produce. It's just like we're so lucky and blessed to be around such great people. So it's just, of course, I wanted to come back.
Yeah.
It was an easy decision.
Yeah.
So,
And it's maybe I'm jaded, but I went out to Chicago a
mhm,
couple months ago, and I hadn't been out there since I was a kid.
mhm.
And actually had some time to spend some time around like the locals and everything. And I'm like, why is everybody so damn mean here?
Yeah.
And I hit up my friend that lives out there, and I was like, yo, like, did something happen in this city? Like, what's going on? And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, why does everybody have an attitude? She was
Right.
like, honestly, I didn't know that
Until you
everybody
pointed it
here,
out.
yes,
Yeah.
had an attitude until she left and she moved to like Washington or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And I came back to Omaha with just like a whole newfound appreciation for like how people take care of people here.
That's so well said. You're definitely right about that. So it's like it's something that you kind of take granted for when you live here, but when you go away and come back, it's just like it just clicks. It's like wow, you had such a good thing here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're blessed here.
But you had an incredible journey and you have to bring
Mhm.
all these tools and experiences back.
Yeah.
And so when you made your trip back home, I love that. Why French cuisine?
I mean, it's something that I've kind of done throughout my whole entire career. Me and Paul, have been friends beyond this. So, I just kind of reached out to him and just seeing if there was, a home for me here, and he opened up his arms and just welcomed me back. And, it's just, we never looked back, everything. We work so well together and he's such a great mentor
Yeah.
and such a face here in Omaha, and he's done such a successful job. So, I'm lucky to be under this roof and, I'm just happy to be
Yeah.
cooking, so. Yeah.
No, having great mentors, man. And that you only find that in places like this.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your kitchen, obviously you spoke about the times you spend at the farmers market.
Mhm.
You're in my opinion, a very seasonal chef. Like
Yeah.
you try to really present the stuff that's fresh in that season on your menu.
Right.
Where does that love and passion come from? Where does that thought process come from?
I think a lot of it has to do with just having that connection as a child, watching things, just sprout and then to be at their peak of their season to where they die, it's like you want to be able to highlight something and when you're around it for so long, when it tastes the best
Mhm.
and to be able to put that on your menu and to be able to highlight and share it with people. So I feel like, to kind of design a dish, you try to especially when you're going around the downtown farmers market and just taste everything and to be able to highlight that farmer, you really want to, pick out the best ingredients for that dish or whatever it may be. And luckily we have a lot of ventures here where we can put we have a prefix menu that we can alter and change everything out. So that's what's so fun. Like we try to bring our line cooks in on it. It's like, hey, you guys, we got all these ingredients from the farmers market. Let's come up with something.
Oh, that's
And they
so
just have a
cool.
blast doing it.
Yeah.
So that's where they really shine and they get excited too. So
Yeah.
especially when they see that dish sell, they're just like, I made that.
I had a finger in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Best Fest is June 20th. What can we expect you to prepare seasonally?
We're going to be highlighting obviously Omaha beef and, the spring produce, probably a lot of peas and green beans and nettles and
Mhm.
uh, squash blossoms. You guys will see. Just wait and see.
Just wait and see. Okay, that's the okay. That's you're gonna leave us like that.
Yeah.
So let me see. What I got you. Okay. Um, how do I want to roll into this? The kitchen culture that you've built here, with your staff, allowing them to take part in, menu curation and everything, really straying away from like the old school chef, like, yelling and screaming. Did you ever experience that? And how did it make you feel? And was there a solidifying moment where you're like, when my time comes, I will never do my staff like this?
Yeah, I think there was a moment in my career. I was about 21 years old. I was working at this Italian restaurant in Arizona, and there was this Nona that was like kind of running the kitchen. It was a Italian grandma from New Jersey, and she would just when nothing would go her way, she'd throw pans at you. She would
Yeah.
yell at you and scream at you. I mean, she was an amazing chef, but yeah, that's when I kind of knew at that moment, it's like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to make people feel like that. And, to be able to have a healthy work environment, I feel like they're going to cook better food. They're going to be happier, being able to walk on your tippy toes and, that stress-free environment. It's already stressful enough,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
being able to control that environment for them and
Mhm.
really set that tone, I think is really important because I think that ultimately the food will taste better.
It does. It
So,
does, man. Like that, you can taste feeling and emotion in food. I tell people
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
all the time. But like with that that knowledge that you have, what do you want people to feel and take away when they do dine and eat your food?
I think you nailed it. Just home. I think that like, the way I lay my food out on a plate. I try to bring my childhood into it a little bit
Yeah.
and try to a sense of comfort, a sense of elegancy. Something that they would ultimately make at home, but to feel like home. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's something that technically I try to put on a plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So home, where you're not serving all these guests. Do you cook at home
Oh,
or
absolutely.
okay?
Yeah. I
What is
love to grill, open wood fire,
Mhm.
that's something I love to do. And, we eat a lot of like just fresh produce. So the kind of stuff that we serve here, I kind of like to cook at home as well. It's the way I like to eat. So
Yeah.
my wife is very healthy, she likes to run marathons. So I try to keep her in, the best shape as possible. So
There you go.
yeah, so we just, eat
That is
good,
so funny.
live it.
Why is there something else, man? Like my wife is the same. She'd be like, "Babe, you can't cook like this.
Yeah.
It tastes great, but do you want me to be 200 pounds?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
Oh, don't get me wrong. I still cook with a lot of butter, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and you know
I
what?
hide it a little bit
Can
more.
somebody like dispel the myth about butter? Like, if it's good quality butter, you'd be okay.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so two of us are both agreeing on this now. We need a petition,
That's
okay?
right. That's right.
Yeah, man. So,
Cool.
is there a dish that you enjoy yourself? For me, and I'll tell you because it's probably actually the first dish I ever made for myself. Kind of like a comfort meal for me.
Mm,
What would be chilaquiles? My dad taught me how to make at like 8 years old.
okay.
Um, and for me, that dish, if I got some time by myself, the house is quiet. Like I'll wait for everybody to go to bed. And
Totally.
specifically, won't eat dinner because I'm like I'm gonna enjoy a plate of chilaquiles tonight.
Hell
Is
yeah.
there a dish like that for you?
Yeah. I mean, we already talked about it, but fried chicken, it's something
Okay.
that like, collard greens, mashed potatoes, corn on the cob. That was like, like an essence. Watermelon. That was like this essence of our summer that we would grow up in as, kids. So like, that was something that, whenever I taste it, especially from a mom, it's just like, almost brings a tear to my eye just because it brings me back. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Food is so wild and powerful that I can do
it
that.
does. It
Just
does.
evoke emotion out of taking a bite of fried chicken, like something that some people look at as like I'm just eating this because I need, supplement
All right.
to the person that can sit down and eat that and have a tear come out their eye.
All
It's
right.
incredible.
Yeah, totally, brother.
So I don't want you to make anybody cry at Best Fest, but what do you want our guests to walk away with? What do you want your guests that choose to dine with you to walk away with as they get done eating, they finish their final course, you come and say your goodbyes. What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to walk away and say?
Just a sense of happiness of that, hopefully they developed a core memory that night and, listen to live music, watching people cook. That sounds like such an amazing time. So I just hope that, we get a lot of smiles and a lot of full stomachs.
Yeah.
So,
Tell me about your selection of music because I mean I've read
oh gosh.
your profile and you're like I love art,
Yeah.
and then immediately after that you're like food and music. So I'm like, man, is this not the most perfect fit ever?
Yeah,
So
totally. Yeah, I
tell me
cannot
tell me
wait.
about your music.
Oh gosh, it's so broad. I mean, I mean, I'm 90s country all the way. You
Okay.
know, we'd go line dancing all the time. But you know, I love everything. You know, 50s, 60s, 70s music. You know, that's kind of like what my dad. You know, I'd be riding in his truck as a kid, and that's what he'd be blasting is like the Beach Boys. You know, so there's just love for everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know, just rock. You know, I love everything. Old school 90s rap,
Nice.
early 2000s. You know, I don't put my nose up to anything. That's for sure. So
There you go.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
I love that you can appreciate whoever's art,
yeah.
just for it being art as you do like in your restaurant. This is incredible. But Chef, thank you for joining us
Thank you,
today.
brother.
June 20th, Best Fest, Chef Joel.
Excited.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah.